Hi everyone, I hope you're all okay. So today is the first ever live video of this particular workshop. It's a brand new workshop that I've put together and I can't wait for you guys to hear it. So if you've got any questions at all, either before the training or throughout at any point, please just let me know and I will answer the questions at the end, because I am going to be talking a little bit about the connection between anxiety and the brain in this workshop, which I haven't done before with you, but a lot of you did say it's something you were interested in, so I'm going to chat with you about that. So if you've got any questions, just let me know, or if you've got any particular questions about your own anxiety, you want to share your own triggers or your own methods that you currently use and how they're working for you, then please just share anything you wish. So I'm going to invite a few people on to join. Let me know how you're getting on. I know this is a bit of an odd time for everybody, so feel free to use this group for extra support during this time. I know that a lot of people are either stuck at home or unable to work or just facing differences in their life at the moment, so feel free to reach out and get the support that you need. Okay. So before we get started on the workshop, I just wanted to tell you a little bit about me. A few of you may have followed me for quite a while now. I've had this business for 3 years, coming up next week, 3 years. So it's been quite a while that I've been mentoring people with anxiety. And it all started because of my own anxiety. So a few years back, I struggled with severe anxiety. I still do now, not with severe as such, because I've got it quite under control now, which is why I'm here to support you. So I didn't even know what anxiety was. So going back about 5 or 6 years, when I was at my worst and I was experiencing panic attacks, I didn't know what it was. I didn't know what was causing it. I didn't know what was going on. I was experiencing a lot of physical symptoms, including chest pain, heart issues, all that kind of thing, and wondering what on earth was happening to my body. So as you can imagine, quite a scary time. Might be where you are at the moment, especially if you're not yet getting the support you need with your anxiety. Maybe that's where you are right now. So it's important that you learn how to understand and manage your anxiety so you can get to a place like I am today. It's completely possible. I want to start by saying that. I know when you first start struggling with anxiety, it feels like there's no way out of it. It feels like that's just how it is, and you kind of just have to accept it and know that that's just your life. That's true to an extent. I don't believe that anxiety goes away, but I do believe that we can learn to understand it and manage it, and in return we can feel free from our anxiety, hence the title of the workshop. Okay, so like I said, personal experience myself, learned a lot over the last 4 or 5 years, and then put it into practice with this mentorship to help you. So that's what I'm going to be doing today. I'm going to be helping you for about 20 or 30 minutes, answering all your questions on anxiety. If you haven't yet seen it, on Saturday just gone, I did a live Q&A, so go back and have a watch of that as well. I answered about 6 or 7 questions that had been asked, so go back and have a look at that. Okay, so to start with, we're going to talk a little bit about understanding your anxiety. So like I said, this is important. This is an important first step. If you don't learn to understand your anxiety, you won't be able to manage it. Okay, so understanding comes first, then managing comes second. Okay, so to understand your anxiety, you need to know what your triggers are. So triggers are things that set off your anxiety. So is it when you're in a social situation? Is it when you're driving? Is it when you are with a particular person? Is it when you're about to go to work? What is it that triggers your anxiety? Is it nighttime? Is it scary films? It could be anything like this. Okay, so spend some time over the next few weeks, 10 days, thinking about everything that triggers your anxiety and writing this down. So you could literally write 1st of May, 4 p.m, my anxiety got triggered when I drove to the supermarket. Okay, so that's how we're going to start. And what we'll do is, over time, you'll think about all of the different triggers. You'll notice that some come up all the time, and you'll notice patterns. You'll begin to see what experiences, events or situations trigger your anxiety. And then from there, we can either learn to prepare you before that particular event, or if possible avoid the event altogether, which is something I'll talk about a bit later, because sometimes that is necessary and sometimes that's okay to do. If it's something that causes you high anxiety and it can be avoided, then that's fine, just do that. But also we need to learn techniques so that you can learn to face that food shop or drive or whatever it is that your anxiety is triggered by. The next thing you need to understand is your symptoms. So, as I'm sure you're aware, anxiety can produce itself in physical form. It can give us symptoms like feeling on edge, heart rate increasing, feeling flushed, feeling hot, sweaty, shaking. All these kinds of things can happen. One of my symptoms was palpitations, which caused a lot of issues, especially when I started collapsing and having to go to hospital and all that sort of thing. I talked about this a little bit more on Saturday's live Q&A, so feel free to go back and have a look at that. But basically you need to figure out what your symptoms are, and your symptoms may be different for different severities of anxiety. So this is literally a learning process for you. It's about you figuring out your different triggers, your different symptoms, if they're ever different, if they're the same. And then from that, you can then learn to manage it. So once you understand your triggers and you understand what symptoms it gives you, then you can begin to use your coping skills, exercises, tools, tips, whatever you want to call them, to manage your anxiety. Okay, so a little bit about the brain. So this is the first time I've talked about the brain with you guys, and so I'm a little bit excited to do that. I've actually been writing about it in the book that I'm writing, so that's why I put the post in the group to see if you're interested in the connection between anxiety and the brain, and it seems like a lot of you are. I personally really like it because it makes me realise how normal it is, and it makes you realise why the physical symptoms happen, why we feel the way we do, why it even happens in the first place, and it just makes it feel like anxiety is normal, and it kind of isn't your fault. It's the brain's fault if you want to think of it in that perspective. Okay, so when you have feelings of anxiety, there's a message that goes to your brain that says you're in danger, because that's the way you're feeling. When you feel anxious, you feel endangered, and that will trigger and activate the fight or flight response, which is useful. It basically means whether you're gonna, for example, fight the tiger or run away from the tiger. And this comes from years and years and years ago, cave men and women days, where that kind of response is useful and it's beneficial. It could be life-saving. So the feeling of anxiety sets off the same response, gives us the same hormones and chemicals released into our body to be able to fight or flight. But we're not actually doing that. We're not using the energy to fight or flight. We're sat in bed or sat on a sofa or crying in the wardrobe, whatever you're doing. You're not actually using that energy and chemicals and things because you don't need them. So what it's important to do is tell the brain that you're safe. And the only way to do this is things like regulating your breathing. You can physically say, I'm safe, I'm safe, I'm safe, I'm safe, on repeat if you need to. But you have to get the message back to the brain that there's no physical threat to your life. And that's really where you want to get to, where you know that anxiety is not nice, it's unpleasant, it's not a nice experience, but it's not going to kill you. It's not a really horrible, life-threatening situation to be in. And that's the message you've got to get to the brain. Okay, so the exercises that we're going to talk about will help you to get that message to the brain. So like I've already said, regulate the breathing. So take some deep breaths, breathe in and out through your nose and your mouth, and just slow the heart rate down. This will help to calm you down anyway and make you feel a lot better and a lot calmer, but it will also get the message to your brain, oh, the body's calm, the body is breathing deeply and fine, so we don't need to have this response activated anymore. Other things you can do, different exercises, you can do mindfulness. So mindfulness is basically being in the present moment. So look around you in your room or the area you are, look at the things around you, take in the surroundings, use all your senses for this exercise. So think about what you can smell, what you can hear, what you can taste, touch, and just look around you. If you can, go out for a walk or something like that, that would be really useful. Physical exercise is a great way to calm your anxiety, because it uses that energy I talked about earlier. So do some kind of fun workout, put a song on that you like and dance around to it, or just do some kind of movement. It is proven that movement changes your mood. So if you're, let's use the example of lying in bed in the middle of the night feeling anxious, just simply getting up, turning the light on, walking, or like I said, song and dance, that kind of thing, that will change the way you're feeling. Things like physical exercise actually release positive hormones into the brain, so you will get the opposite to what anxiety releases. You get positive chemicals, one is actually called the happy hormone, which I really love, and it's released purely from physical exercise. So do that movement, get moving and get that hormone released so that it can make you feel better, improve your mood. It will change the way you feel energy wise as well in your body, because sometimes we feel really tense and quite uptight when we feel anxious, so it will just help you to feel a bit more relaxed and loosen your body up a little bit. And finally, one of the most powerful exercises you can do is talk to somebody. And if you can't talk to somebody, then just journal about it, because expressing your feelings and getting your feelings out into words is one of the most important things you can do, and it's the first step to taking control of your anxiety and the way you're feeling, and then being able to move forward from that. Okay, so a question I had from somebody earlier, Jessica I believe it was about panic attacks. So I'm going to give you just a few ideas of exercises you can do in a panic attack that I've personally used myself. I did explain to Jessica that I don't have experience in PTSD, which is specifically what she asked for, but this will help for panic attacks relating to anxiety triggers. So emotional freedom technique is by far the most powerful thing I've tried. I find it so powerful that I actually trained in it so that I can help you guys with it. So it's tapping on pressure points around the body to unblock and release the energy flow in the body, which can be really useful in moments of high anxiety and panic attack, because it, like I said, that stagnant energy again, it releases it, it gets it flowing, it gets you feeling better, and the way your body feels affects the way your mind feels, and the opposite way around too. So getting that going is really good. And also deep breathing, so just taking some deep breaths, close your eyes, try to allow the body to relax, take a deep breath in and then hold it for a few seconds and then take a deep breath out. And also the above exercises that I mentioned will also help you in moments of panic attack as well, so the mindfulness, physical exercise and journaling or talking to someone. Okay, so if anybody's got any other questions, please feel free to let me know in the comments or in the group at any point. Just let me know and I will come and answer your questions for you. But basically what I want you to learn from this workshop is that your anxiety can be managed, you can get control of it. The first step is to understand it, the second step is to manage it, and then after that all you have to do is repeat what you've already learned. Continue to track your triggers and your symptoms, continue to use your management tools, and just do that on repeat forever, because like I said at the start, I don't think anxiety ever goes away, but I do truly believe from my own personal experience it can be managed. Yes, there will be days when it gets triggered. Even now I feel that mine is under control 90 or 95% of the time, but I actually, the other day I wrote on Instagram, I watched a scary film 2 nights ago, and it wasn't very good. It triggered my anxiety, it had me feeling on edge, my heart was racing, and I didn't find it very enjoyable. I said to my boyfriend, this is the way I feel when I watch horror films. It wasn't even a horror film, it was Gone Girl, but it triggered my anxiety, and that night I had a nightmare, and I woke up in the night from my nightmare having a panic attack again. So from that I just used these techniques, the ones I've talked to you about today, and I calmed my panic attack within about 10 minutes and went back to sleep. I also talked to him as well because he's very understanding and very into this kind of stuff as well, which is really, really useful. So just know that it is possible for you too. I know it feels like it can't be done. I know it feels like you don't know where to start and you just don't know what's going on with your body and your mind. I completely understand. I know exactly how you feel, and it is scary, it is overwhelming, but trust me, from personal experience and from my now professional knowledge, I do know this is possible for you. So if you would like some extra support, please come and join me in the Freedom Formula, so I can give you that extra support with the resources I've got in there. I've got meditations, I've got yoga, workouts, all sorts of resources and things that can help you, as well as the initial 6-week program from anxiety to freedom. A little bit of that I've talked you through today, and the understanding anxiety is very similar what I've talked you today, and what's the training that's in there. It's just a little bit more in depth in there. And then obviously you've got the other steps as well. We talk about mindfulness, we talk about panic attacks, and there's loads of extra resources in there as well. So if you would like to become a member, just let me know and I will give you the link to join, and you can join all the other members in there, get support from me and from them, and really get started on your journey from anxiety to freedom. So have a lovely rest of your day and weekend, and I'll speak to you soon.